think he's going to start fast. I think he's going to take the fight straight to Conor Benn. So, yeah, this fight could be over inside the first 6 rounds.
If the knockout is there, we're going to definitely take it. But, you know, he's going to be in shape to go 15 rounds.
Eubank will do a better job than we did last time. I feel like he just thought, oh, he can't hurt me, so I'm just going to have a brawl with him. But I feel like he'll box him this time and maybe take him out towards the late rounds.
I think Conor Benn will win. I thought he'd win last time, but Conor fought too emotionally, in my opinion. This time, I think he'll be a bit more systematic in the way he goes about his business.
As Eubank versus Benn 2 approaches, analysts and pros have made their final prediction for who will win the fight. In the build-up to this highly anticipated rematch, Liam Smith, who has shared the ring with Chris Eubank Jr., broke down the matchup. Smith leaned towards Conor Benn in his rematch fight. He agreed that Conor Benn can impact Chris Eubank Jr. He admitted that Benn is not the most technically gifted fighter and lacks a win over a top-tier name. However, Smith argued that Eubank is also not a highly technical boxer himself. He believed Eubank lacked the precise skills needed to exploit Benn's mistakes. Therefore, Smith concluded that Eubank's style does not pose a major technical threat that would prevent Benn from being effective in the fight.
But in your mind, does Conor have the technical ability to be able to make the impact on Chris Eubank?
You know what, Sam? Yes, only because I don't think Chris Eubank's the most technically correct fighter also. I know he's a bigger man and fought his whole career at 160, but I don't think Chris Eubank is as technically good and technically correct to counter Conor Benn's mistakes and exploit Conor Benn's mistakes. So that's where I do think you're correct what you're saying. And if we analyse Conor, he was not the most talented fighter. He hadn't had any great wins, hadn't beat any top names for us to say, wow.
From Spencer Oliver's point of view, he noted that Chris Eubank Jr.'s new trainer, Bo Mack, is a top-tier strategist. He observed that their training has focused on aggressive tactics aimed at an early victory. Based on the videos Eubank has released, Oliver believed he does not want the fight to go the full 12 rounds. He predicted Eubank would use his physical advantages to take the fight directly to Conor Benn from the opening bell. Unlike their first, more cautious fight, Oliver expected a fast start from Eubank. He concluded that this aggression could end the fight within the first 6 rounds.
Alan, great question, because I think that Eubank now has teamed up with Bo Mack. Bo Mack is the guy that was instrumental in coming up with a game plan for Terence Crawford to beat Canelo Alvarez, and what a performance that was like. So Bo Mack is a very good trainer, but they've been training on aggression, to go out there, to get the job done early. I've been seeing the video clips that Eubank's been putting out. This kid don't want to go 12 rounds again, that's for sure. He's going for the knockout. He wants to get, he wants to use his weight and his strength advantages and take the fight to Benn. The first fight was a little bit, they were both a little reserved in the first few rounds, respecting each other, feeling each other out, but they both know what they are now. They both know what they're going into. And for Eubank, I think he's going to start fast. I think he's going to take the fight straight to Conor Benn. So, yeah, this fight could be over inside the first 6 rounds.
According to Sam Jones, he believed Conor Benn would win the rematch. He felt Benn fought too emotionally in their first encounter, but he expected a more calculated approach this time. While acknowledging Chris Eubank Jr.'s legendary toughness, Jones pointed out that Eubank is now 36 years old. He highlighted that Eubank has been in many hard fights and suffered significant damage despite winning the first match. Jones references the hospital stay and the bruised pictures Eubank himself posted as proof of the severe punishment he absorbed.
I think Conor Benn will win. I thought he'd win last time, but Conor fought too emotionally, in my opinion. This time, I think he'll be a bit more systematic in the way he goes about his business. And look, I know we've said it and it's been mentioned so many times. As tough as Eubank is, and he's granite. Eubank is so tough. He's absolutely nails. But he's 36. And he's been in a lot of hard fights, and he came out of that fight the worst. He was the victor in the fight and the rightful victor, but he was in hospital for a long time after that fight, battered and bruised. You saw the video pictures.
Moving ahead to trainer Bo Mack, he explained that he has instructed his fighter to make a major statement in his upcoming bout. Bo Mack stated that while an emphatic knockout is the desired outcome, he has prepared to fight hard for a full 15 rounds if necessary. The primary goal is to deliver a performance that cannot be ignored and forces the boxing world to take notice.
What does he need to show in the fight against Conor Benn to take those next steps?
Like I told him today as we was talking, you need to make a statement. You need to make a statement. Somebody out there needs to give you a shot. Your promoters need to, hey, step on the gas, because it's time now. You know, you've been in some good fights. You've been in some tough fights, and you won some, you lost some. But at this time, it's time to go.
When you say statement, does that necessarily mean a knockout, or does it just mean an emphatic victory?
If the knockout is there, we're going to definitely take it. But, you know, he's going to be in shape to go 15 rounds.
George Groves shared his thoughts on the rematch, suggesting that Ben might come out on top this time. He explained that Eubank had already reached his career peak after headlining a stadium fight and defeating a major rival with his father by his side, a moment hard to surpass. Groves cautioned that while there's nothing wrong with Eubank chasing more success or money, he should be careful not to overlook what's ahead, as he may already have passed his best moment.
I think maybe Conor Benn beats him. I think if I was Eubank, my point was at the time, I was like, mate, like, you have just climbed your Everest. You've just headlined a stadium. You've beat what is now a rival, spectacular fashion in terms of getting the win with your dad by your side and all the hooting and hollering that went on, you know, amongst it. You can't top that feeling. I don't begrudge you if you want to earn more money out of the sport, but be careful, because you look way past his best.
Looking at Face Off, Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr., the Wade Concept explained that both clearly feel the pressure going into their rematch. It's natural in high-stakes fights. He said pressure defines big moments in sports and in life. It exists because expectations are high. Wade pointed out that while Eubank admitted he feels pressure but hides it well, Ben tends to show his emotions even when he tries not to. This gives Eubank an advantage, as he can sense and feed off Ben's emotional energy in the build-up to their fight.
There was no speed and defense transition. There was no let me take some speed off of this one and use it as a rangefinder, then ba-bam, and speed it back up and add some power to it. It was just hammers. And I think he knows that in a rematch, if he can do a little bit different, if he can make some adjustments to his game, and keep that same tenacity and keep that same power.
He further clarified that blaming Eddie Hearn or Matchroom for the situation is unfair, since promoters would never risk delaying medical attention for a fighter. Coldwell added that the video Eubank shared highlights a real problem that needs fixing, not finger pointing. He also acknowledged that while Eubank's recent post about his injuries may have drawn mixed reactions, it ultimately reminds fans of the physical toll fighters endure and the respect they deserve for stepping into the ring.
I feel that Conor learned a lot from that fight. Learned a lot about himself. Learned that he can't be emotional and he has to have a little bit of thought, because he was wild, reckless, especially early doors. Yeah. It was horrible. But I think he'll be a lot more calculated, smarter. He seems to be a lot more emotionally controlled this time coming into this fight. And I think just the experience of doing the rounds, the hard rounds against the bigger man, being backed up against ropes and, you know, getting caught and getting hurt and being so tight, I think all that experience will make him a better fighter.
Moving towards Zach Parker, he believed Eubank Jr. would perform better in the rematch, using his boxing skills instead of getting into a reckless brawl like last time, and possibly finishing Ben in the later rounds. Spencer Oliver agreed at first, praising trainer Bomac for improving Eubank's tactics and motivation, and predicting an easier win this time if the weight issue is handled properly. However, Paul Smith disagreed, saying he's changed his mind recently. He feels Eubank's durability is gone after years of tough fights, but he doubted Bomac could fix that. Smith added that since Conor Benn already hurt Eubank before, Ben's confidence will make him even more dangerous in this rematch.
I think Eubank will do a better job than we did last. I feel like he just thought, oh, he can't hurt me, so I'm just going to have a brawl with him, but I feel like he'll box him this time and maybe take him out towards the late rounds.
You're in the same place, aren't you? Oh, no,
yeah, I just think that with Bomac, you know, now part of that team, and I just think he's a great trainer, he's a great motivator, he's a great cheerleader in the gym, and I think tactically he just gets it right, and I think that Eubank will get the weight right this time. That played a big part in it last time, and I just think that it'll be an easier victory for Eubank. He's a bigger guy. And
I think it's dangerous with the weight though. Like he's got a stipulation that what is it, £10?
Rehydration clause, yeah.
And that's dangerous. I think.
I've actually changed my mind over the last couple of weeks.
Where you going?
I don't think Eubank has anything left, and I've said this before, and I'm not disrespecting him, putting him down. He's had a hard career. I felt the same when he was fighting his brother Liam, so I can't really go back and say now all of a sudden because of Bomac he's magically going to improve. He will improve, but I think the shot resistance, when Conor Benn, who was a welterweight, was hurting him in the last fight, I think with the added confidence of Conor Benn knowing he can hurt in this fight.
Similarly, Jamie Moore also believed Conor Benn's youth and ability to learn from his first fight gave him an edge this time. He felt Benn had likely improved and gained maturity since their last fight, while Eubank may have lost something after such a grueling bout. Moore says if Benn's progress matches Eubank's decline, the rematch becomes a much more balanced and unpredictable fight, one that's sure to be thrilling to watch.
Take into account Conor, he's younger, he's got more growth in terms of learning lessons, so he's probably improved from the first fight. So then you've got to be thinking, if he has improved, that's probably enough. If you sort of get the balance right of Conor's improved from the first fight and learned the lessons, and as it took a lot out of Eubank, then for me it brings it back to level playing field again. So it remains to be seen, but it's a hell of a fight.
Moving towards family reactions, Eubank's cousin Harlem Eubank stated that he feels even more confident about Chris Eubank Jr.'s chances this time. He explained that Chris looks completely focused, reminding him of the best version. He noted that Chris has the right team around him again, similar to his successful training camp. This proper support system is crucial for his preparation. Harlem believed that with this focus and team, Chris is ready to execute his plan perfectly. He is convinced they will see the best possible performance from Chris in the upcoming fight.
I feel even more confident this time. I can see Chris is razor focused. The best version I've seen of him in recent times was the Liam Smith rematch. I saw him training that time. I see the team that he had around him with Eubank training out in Vegas, and I knew that he was coming correct. We have the same situation again. He's focused, got the right people around him, and he's going to prepare to be and execute the best version.
In his own words, Chris Eubank Jr. expressed high confidence in his potential rematch, crediting his new trainer for introducing new strategies. He admitted he lacked these specific skills and game plans in their first encounter. His goal is to change his approach to avoid predictability completely. Eubank aimed to keep his opponent uncertain and unable to anticipate his moves. The ultimate goal is to create openings to surprise and defeat them.
I'm extremely confident, and I think that my new coach and trainer in Eubank, he brings a whole set of ideas and skill sets and strategies that I didn't have leading up to the first fight, and that's what we want. You know, we don't want to go in there and do the same thing. We want to switch things up. We want to keep these guys on their toes. We want to catch them off guard.
On the other hand, Conor Benn also admitted he underestimated Chris Eubank Jr. in their first fight. He did not know the outcome immediately, but after the third round, he believed the fight was essentially over. Benn was confident that his own ferocity, aggression, and tenacity would be too overwhelming for Eubank to handle. He felt his sharpness and hunger would lead him to a swift victory. However, Benn now acknowledged that he misjudged Eubank Jr.'s resilience and ability to withstand the pressure.
When you got in there, did you know immediately that this fight was gonna go the way it was gonna go?
No, I thought after the third round that it was curtained. I thought it was curtained.
There was a moment in that fight, in that third round, where your prediction nearly came true.
I thought he couldn't live with my ferocity, my spite, my tenacity, my aggression. I thought he couldn't live with any of that. Hunger, sharpness, but you know, I underestimated them.
Moreover, Benn didn't hold back his feelings, calling his rival an idiot and labeling him as arrogant and awkward. He said that after meeting him several times, his opinion hasn't changed. He just doesn't like him. Benn described him as difficult to talk to and lacking in personality. He added that his rival isn't the kind of person he'd ever get along with or share a casual moment with, like having breakfast together.
Right, so no,
Personally, I think he's an idiot. I just don't like him. Do you know what I mean?
What is it about him that you don't like?
He's just arrogant.
Right.
He's just arrogant. Do you know what I mean? Just like, his persona. He's just an idiot. there ain't really any other words to describe. He's an idiot. He's awkward. He's not much of a person to have a conversation with. Yeah, I'm talking before the first time I met him, second time I met him, third time I met him. I met him a few times before fight night. Before the fight was arranged, just an idiot all round. Not my cup of tea. Not someone I go and have breakfast with in the morning.
Meanwhile, Spencer Oliver believed Chris Eubank Jr. is under more pressure to deliver a win in the rematch. He acknowledged that Eubank is brilliant at creating narratives and selling fights. Oliver directly references the recent ambulance story as an example of this savvy self-promotion. However, he dismissed the claim itself, stating Eddie Hearn would not have control over stadium exits. He clarified that such logistics are solely the stadium's responsibility to prevent the sport's reputation from being damaged.
Yeah, I think that Chris is under more pressure because he has.
But still, he's 1-0 up.
Yeah, but he has to deliver, you know, and I think that, I personally think that he will deliver. I think that Chris Eubank Jr. is brilliant at selling these fights. You can't take that away from him. That is the narrative he's gone down here with the ambulance being blocked. We know that Eddie Hearn wouldn't have control over that, otherwise boxing would be put into disrepute. Like, it's down to the stadium who controls, the exits in and out of.
Recently, Eddie Hearn has also responded to a viral video involving an ambulance and Chris Eubank Jr. He confirmed that Eubank went to a gate long after the event and the control room approved its opening. Hearn directly refutes the claim that he or Matchroom stopped an ambulance from leaving. He stated the misleading narrative is a result of clever video editing. Hearn suggested that this editing is designed to confuse those who may not question what they see.
I saw the video, and yes, he went to a gate, and this is long after the event has finished, and I believe the control room at Tottenham Hotspur have to approve the gates to be open, of which that's what happened. What he said was Eddie Hearn and Matchroom stopped the ambulance from leaving. And unfortunately, those who don't quite have the intellect to deal with that can get bemused and be bewildered by a little bit of clever.
Looking at the upcoming bout, Chris Eubank Jr. started his work intensely with his new trainer, Eubank, inside the ring. Eubank wears focus mitts, instructing and motivating Eubank with shouts of, "Let's go!" He demands focused, powerful combinations, reminding Eubank to maintain his balance throughout the workout. Eubank responds by firing aggressive, short punches to the body. The session highlights a clear focus on power and disciplined aggression for the upcoming fight. In his own training footage, Conor Benn is also seen working hard with his trainer using focus mitts. His practice was focused on powerful, aggressive body shots, a clear sign of his intent to attack with force. Additionally, Benn is shown sharpening his skills and power on the heavy bag. The combined workouts demonstrate his focus on improving his explosiveness and precision. This intense preparation highlights his determination to make a strong statement in his upcoming fight. As the rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn draws near, the tension is at its peak. Both fighters have evolved, Benn with his renewed discipline and aggression, and Eubank with his refined strategy and experience. Analysts remain divided, but one thing is certain, this fight is more than just a rematch. It's a battle for pride, legacy, and redemption. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more in-depth boxing analysis, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.